Hey, it's Tpok. I'm finally playing Symphonic Rain again, and I apologize for not uploading this in forever. Basically, I haven't had that much free time, and the free time I have had, I've been wasting it in Counter-Strike. So I apologize for that. But, yeah. This is like my first, free week, or semi-free week. As in free, as in I have nothing major I need to prepare for. So yeah, I can get some of these out. So let's get back into it. I waited until Nina, who was still quick on her feet, disappear into the kitchen, then faced toward her once more. I see. That's a good idea. Now let's start with the bits you have trouble with. You started it. As we continued our unproductive quarrel, the sound of chuckling could vaguely be heard emanating from the kitchen. It somehow calmed me, and enticed me to stop arguing. The time the three of us spent relaxing after dinner had gone by in the blink of an eye. As for what we talked about, since I only visited a few times a year, it was naturally pretty much all about me. Nina was inquisitive about the smallest of things that even Torta didn't know of, and before I noticed, I had been absorbed in the conversation until late at night. It's getting late. I'd better get home soon. Nah, I'm sorry for not coming more often. Without realizing it, I had relaxed my manner of speech as well. I'd always tried to be very polite every time I came here, but then inevitably messed up when it was about time to go home. I will. I answered honestly. Nina gently nodded, then grasped my hand one final time. At the front door, Torta continued conversing in whisper, so only I could hear it. Yeah, see you tomorrow. After one last healthy intake of nostalgic air in the house, I went outside. The incessant rain felt cold to the touch, so I put my coat back on tightly, then hurried along the road home. I'm home. Sorry I'm late. You're worried about the ensemble, not the letter, aren't you? Sorry, but I'll have to pass today. I'm exhausted. Taking tomorrow into consideration, I'll have my hands full just writing the letter. We can do it twice as long next time, okay? Like I said, I'm really sorry about that. There was nothing I could do about it. Besides, it wasn't like it had to be on a Sunday. I could perform with her a bit tomorrow as well. Sorry, Forney. I didn't know if she was still listening, but I told her so in a tiny voice, then decided to go about the matter for the time being. Well then. Although I had been lost in conversation at Torta's place, I had eaten until my belly was full, and now I had to make an effort not to fall asleep on the spot. Looking at the pretty writing of the letter, a sense of relief overcame me, and I became sleepy once again. To make myself a bit more comfortable, I lay down on my bed before reading it.
こと言うなんてバカみたいだって笑うクリスの顔が見えた気がします。でもそれが素直な気持ち。卒業演奏のパートナーはどう？やっぱりこの話題になっちゃうけど、今一番重要なことだから許してね。別にトルタのことだけじゃなく、たとえ誰になったとしても卒業に関わるような大切なことだもんね。早くいい人が見つかって練習にも身が入るといいね。そればっかりじゃあんまりにも寂しいので、今度は私の方の話も少し書くことにします。このパン屋に私が勤め始めたのはクリスたちが学院に入ったのと同じ時期だから、もう2年半以上が経ったことになるね。細かい報告はしていたけど、今は私も最初から最後まで一人で野球を任されるくらいになりました。とっても忙しい毎日だけど充実していて、それだけはクリスにも負けないくらいだと思うよ。いつか私の作った美味しいパンをクリスに食べさせてあげられたらいいな。その日が来るのを楽しみに待っています。
Oops. Cut off her name. Bread made by Arietta, huh. Since I was full, I didn't really want to think about food, but I felt something like that could still manage to fit. Forney. I left the letter next to my pillow and muttered, "Wake me up a little earlier tomorrow. I can't write a reply anymore. It's only like 10:15, man." Burying my face in my pillow, the border of the dream world was already in sight. Good night. I had a feeling someone was yelling in my ear, telling me to wake up. It seemed the remainder of my fatigue hadn't dissolved quite yet. Didn't want to open my eyes, much less get up, as I still felt sluggish. As I slowly opened my eyes, a miffed-looking Forney standing by my bedside came into view. Morning. Is it that late already? I flitted my eyes to the clock behind the angry sprite. It's only barely past 9. I can sleep for 30 more minutes. She pulled my ear with all her might. Of course, she had the strength of a little fairy. You almost slept 12 hours, man. It's time to wake up. I didn't feel much. I get it, don't shout in my ear like that. Come to think of it, I stayed at Nina's place until late yesterday, and fell asleep right after reading the letter. Having suddenly recalled everything, I scanned my bedside, but the letter I was sure I had left there was gone. No, thanks. Now, who taught you to speak like that? Actually, she'd been that way since I first met her. What she said seemed like something Torta would say. Oh well. Anyway, thanks for waking me up. Nothing. I see. I was thinking about doing an ensemble with you when I got back, but somehow I don't really feel like it anymore. I don't mind if you think I'm lying. It was just a thought in the first place, and now I don't feel like it anymore. Huh? I hadn't expected her to apologize and be done with it. What are you being so stubborn about? I think such a reply is proof in itself stubborn. Had I been teasing her too much since last night? I was starting to feel a bit sorry for her, so I decided to give up. Never mind, I'm sorry. Forney seemed to be quite upset, but that was rather cute in its own way. As I pondered mean things like leaving her in her angered state for a while longer, I decided to focus on my primary objective for now, my reply to Ari. When I got up and walked to my desk, I heard Forney make a tiny sound behind me. What? What? Spit it out. Forney didn't want to say it, but I understood what she wanted. She wanted me to carry her to her favorite seat on the window. Come on. I grabbed her side with my thumb and index finger and popped her down on the window frame. This is what you wanted, right? Listen, I apologize for last night and teasing you for just now. But, you know, I don't think anyone can do everything themselves. Sure, if you weren't there to wake me up, I would likely oversleep a lot. But without my help, you wouldn't be able to reach high places, would you? That's why it's wrong for you to say that. Above all, it takes two to perform an ensemble. Thanks. I guess I'll go write my letter now. Forney shifted her gaze to the outside world and started humming, something she often did when in a good mood. Feeling relieved, I pulled a clean sheet of paper from the drawer and sat down behind my desk. Thankfully, it looked like Ari was doing just fine on her end. In her early letter, she often wrote she was having difficulties. I often grumbled that I couldn't get used to living here at the Institute as well, but I somehow managed to hold out until now. I could confidently say that was the result of being supported by the people around me, like Forney, Torta, Asino, and Miss Cordell. Ari had to have people like that as well. Thinking about her friends, who didn't appear much in her letters, I started writing my reply. Forney told me after glancing at the clock, back in high spirits once more. Don't worry, I'm done. I'll be right on time if I leave now. Thanks for waking me up. She had slightly altered her choice of words. I had to agree with her this time. You're right. I answered jovially and began preparing to leave. I'm off. Probably, but if I'm not, I will keep my promise. So apparently my recording restarted. Or something. I don't know what it's doing. I might have just skipped for some reason. I finished my usual morning session and spent time with Torta in the cafeteria. Well then, what shall I do now? Is that the cafeteria? Stay in the cafeteria. That's what you gotta do. Let's practice again today. Huh? Torta had already cleaned up her lunchbox and was about to head for the practice room. I felt my chest tighten again from seeing her agree with a smile on her face. After arriving at the practice room, Torta took her own score from her bag and placed it on the music stand. It seemed she was finally willing to practice face to face. I felt it would make things a lot more comfortable, but at the same time, I felt a trace of loneliness over the matter. It was somewhat unnerving to constantly feel her gaze on my back, but when I thought back on it, things might have not been that bad after all. Nothing. Don't be ridiculous. But she was extremely close. If she had asked if I felt sad about it rather than disappointed, I might have responded affirmatively. Come on, practice, practice. Don't get me wrong. I was just thinking that if we kept up the conversation, You might end up deciding to stand behind me again. We came here to practice, right?
はいはい。まあそういうことにしておいてあげましょう。じゃあ初めから？
After you finish your vocal exercises, and after I loosen up my fingers, sure.
わかった。じゃあ音をちょうだい。
Am I doing it? Yes, I am. Okay. I'll cut this out, so don't worry. We finished our performance and exchanged glances. Although it was the first time we performed face to face, it went remarkably well.
いいんじゃないかな。
Yeah. While our level of performance hardly warranted praise, it was more than satisfactory considering how little we had practiced so far.
このままだと本番もうまくいくかもね。
If we continue like this, yeah.
弱気っぽくも聞こえるけど、クリスにしては珍しく自信があるような言い方だね。
I guess. I was impressed Torta picked up on that. Like she said, I was somewhat self-assured. We harmonized it so well, it was hard to believe we'd only practiced a few times before. Guys, I'm gonna figure out what went wrong with my recording, so it's gonna be a little short. I just want to make sure I've got everything. So sorry about that. I'll have it fixed definitely by next time. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.